first game in a long time that probably, well, maybe outside of senior night, this game means more for Carolina than it probably means for Virginia Tech. I think you're going to see the buy-in. I think you're going to see Carolina correct some of the stuff that went wrong in the season finale loss in Cameron Indoor Stadium. The transition defense really was a problem in that game. But you've got Cole Anthony. This will be an easier matchup for him. Virginia Tech doesn't have a guy that can guard Garrison Brooks.
You're not playing in Virginia Tech, which has not been a great place for you.
You're going to be as a home environment as they're going to be. There'll be a lot of Tar Heel fans in Greensboro, despite the fact they're playing on Tuesday, despite the fact it's 7 o'clock. There'll still be a lot of Heels fans in the building. If Carolina rebounds the ball that they're supposed to, that's probably where this game is going to be won and lost. Virginia Tech only averages 34 rebounds a game. Carolina's at 42. That's an 8+ rebounding margin. That's a big number. Yeah. So if you control the glass, convert on second chance opportunities like you're capable of, I'm with you. I think they can win the game rather easily. In an ideal world, when you get to the under 4-minute timeout, you don't have any starters on the floor.
That would be nice.
World, you want all your starters on the bench just sitting there, basically already rehabbing, already drinking as many fluids, getting ready to go, and getting prepared for Wednesday. And so since we picked Carolina to win, we already know their opponent if they do win. If the Heels beat Virginia Tech, they're going to play Syracuse. We know Roy Williams' success, or Carolina's success, against Syracuse. Winners of 9 in a row. They went to Syracuse a few weeks ago and absolutely put on an offensive clinic, scoring 92 points in a road win in the Carrier Dome in a game that at the time meant more for Syracuse's hopes to win the to get into the NCAA tournament. As of right now, the Orange are in a situation almost like Carolina, unless they're pretty much going to have to make the ACC tournament final to maybe secure a spot. Of course, if you win the ACC tournament, you're automatically in. But that's going to be a game that is going to be both for a lot of teams for their postseason chances. But we've talked a lot. We love the matchup. I think Syracuse has a lot of great individual talent. I don't think Jim Boeheim has gotten them to play as a team. They're kind of a lot like Carolina as was this year. There's a lot of talent there, but it never came together for them. And it'd be a game that Carolina would probably not be favored to win, but you have a good shot to get to Thursday.
Yeah, I love the matchup a lot because we've talked so many times on this podcast, and people in general have just talked about it. Roy Williams, his ability to score against zones is amazing. He does it every single time. It's just one of the most consistent things with this Carolina program since he's came back. And I think, once again, it's probably going to end up being the same way if Carolina can get to Wednesday. It's a great matchup. The biggest thing that we talked about the first time around, and it became pretty evident when we watched them play, was that Elijah Hughes is a really good player. They don't have a consistent second option outside of him. It's not that there isn't a second option. It's who is that other guy. At times, it's Buddy Boeheim. That's the guy that played really well against Carolina the first time. But there's other times where Boeheim can't hit a shot. Who's there to pick up the slack? Merrick Dolage has had points where he's looked good, but really, if Elijah Hughes doesn't play well for Syracuse, they don't play well. And for Carolina, that's going to be your focus in this game, is finding a way to shut down Elijah Hughes and do what you did on the offensive end the first time, which was take advantage of the space that Syracuse is going to give you. Christian Keeling had a really good game because they gave him a lot of space. He was able to knock down shots. I feel like Brandon Robinson, who didn't really play all that well the first time, will have a chance to come out and play well in this game because, as we saw in the game against Duke, he seems to have sort of found his rhythm from deep a little bit once again. He was 3 of 5, really wasn't great early in the game, but when he needed to knock down a couple of shots to try to keep Carolina in the game, he did knock some outside shots down. So I think, look, you got to get through Virginia Tech, but if they get to this game against Syracuse, out of all the teams that you could have possibly faced on Wednesday, this is the team that you probably are most comfortable facing.
Yeah, I think you'd much rather have played Syracuse than you probably wouldn't want another matchup with NC State. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in the same year. Clemson has played really good against the big-name schools this year. They got wins over Duke, Florida State, and Louisville, and, of course, they beat you in your building. Notre Dame, you've had troubles with, and in the ACC tournament. Boston College always plays really well. Normally their first game in this event. So you got a good start with Virginia Tech, a team that you should honestly beat, and then you get a matchup with Syracuse that you match up as well against them as any other team you're going to have to match up with the rest of the way if you get to the quarterfinals starting on Thursday. So anything else? We're going to look at the first 2 brackets of the ACC tournament, and then, of course, we'll address it as they go. Anything else before we get out of here?
No, I think we know the task that's ahead of Carolina. I think they know. I mean, they know the task that's ahead of them, and we'll just see what their mindset is. I think we'll learn pretty quickly in the game against Virginia Tech what kind of mindset this team has. Are they up to the task, or are they a team that's going to look at it and say, man, there's just too much here. We don't think we're going to be able to get it done and just move on to next season. I think it's I think it's more of the prior, and I think we're going to see this team come out and give it a hell of a fight, and we'll see where that lands them.
Yeah, for their all they've done this year, for their inability to not quit when we couldn't have blamed them if they did quit. One way to get rewarded for that is you go win this a tournament and you get to experience March Madness. So with that, we're going to get out of here. First, we're going to talk to you about the HeelToughBlog.com. It's been a pretty big weekend. It's going to be a pretty big week for the website. In the last couple of days, we were getting you ready for the Duke game, and we've got you covered from the Duke loss. You can read my recap, Anthony's analysis. That's all posted on basketball. We're going to get you ready for the ACC tournament and keep you covered for what hopefully will be 5 straight wins in 5 days. So Carolina basketball, we got you covered. Carolina football, massive 2 days recruiting for Mac Brown. He flipped Drake May's commitment from Alabama to Carolina. He then follows that up with a big-time 4-star wide receiver to commit as well. All in-state products in the class, in the 2021 class as of right now. Anthony's written about both of those guys' commitments. There's a potential for more on the way. So keep your eyes peeled to HeelToughBlog.com for football coverage. As also, spring football is right around the corner, and we'll, of course, keep you guys covered as we will then finally begin our push for Sam Howell for Heisman. Will be an all off-season and then during the season-long campaign, assuming he plays to the level we saw him play last year. And lastly, we will encourage you guys to like and review the podcast. You can find us on every major podcast platform on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Give us a like. Review me, review Anthony. Most importantly, we encourage you guys to subscribe. You've done a great job all year long, staying faithful with us, staying faithful with the team. So just give us that subscribe button. We'll greatly appreciate that. Well, with that, I'm going to thank Anthony for waking up early on a Sunday morning. We lost an hour of sleep on a late night to come on here, talk a little Carolina basketball as ACC Tournament and Champ Week is underway. We want to thank you guys for listening, and as always, go Tar Heels.